Warning: the following podcast contains strong language which some listeners may find offensive. If you do,
Up yours! That's only if you don't listen to the podcast. Otherwise, not up yours.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Untitled Wrestling Podcast. It is Tuesday. You know, it's me, your boy, Big Tasty, as always, with a returning Troy. How's it going, man?
Harry, yeah, I'm good. I'm good, mate. A few weeks off, bit of holiday, bit of R&R. I feel refreshed, ready
I
to
saw
go.
that, man. You went to Saltburn. Did you on the trolley?
Aye, yeah,
Up the hill. That's so good, then.
yeah. Oh, mate, it's such a nice part of the country, man. It's beautiful. The weather was absolutely perfect. I ate my body weight in fish and chips, so.
So you got a little lemon top as well.
Oh yeah. That was the last thing I got before I left. Like, saw the holiday off with a lemon top. Perfect.
Nice, love it. Oh, sweet. And you have the nice weather as well, because it's still just to pull back the curtain. We're recording this on the weekend, and it's going to be, by the time this goes out, it'll be presumably a lot cooler, but it is still hot as balls today.
Oh yeah, it's currently 31 at the moment.
I've got that coastal breeze, mate. It's only 29 here. It's great. The benefit of living by the coast. It's,
mate, landlocked in fucking sunny Coventry.
Oh, seriously, went to Sheffield yesterday, and it was like significantly hotter than it is in Liverpool because there's just no sea, there's nowhere for the heat to go.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Right, back into it. If you're listening to us on Jack's Radio, welcome. We were played in by a bit of news, bit of bliss, which is always love that. We'll crack straight into the WWE bits and bobs. Not an awful lot of some really good matches this week, but not an awful lot of like massive news. But we'll crack into it. We'll go through. Obviously, we're on the road, the sort of rickety Roman road to Clash at the Castle. That's coming up next weekend.
No, it's weekend
not,
after.
It's like September, isn't it?
Three weeks away. 3rd of September. 3 weeks, I think. Not far though. Not far at all.
Yeah, it's getting closer. So speaking of Clash at the Castle, according to Fightful, there is eternal speculation among WWE talent that this year's draft will occur immediately following Clash at the Castle, perhaps as soon as 9th of September or the 12th of September. That's Smackdown and Raw, respectively. So not the Monday, obviously. What are they doing about that Raw? Because are they doing it in the UK?
Don't know. I've not seen it. They might be, but I've only planned to go to Clash at the Castle.
Or are they just hoofing everyone back to America on the Sunday?
Hoofing people like double quick time to get back and do Raw on the Monday, maybe.
So maybe not that Raw, but the Smackdown and the Raw following that is
Right.
rumored to be this draft. And any plans to repackage specific wrestlers apparently going to wait until after the draft. I did just see an article which might have follow on to this. Apparently, Doudrop has been in conversation with creative, asking for a name change.
Good. Bloody hope so, because Doudrop's nonsense.
What better time to do it than when you're back in the UK?
Exactly. Yeah. Of course. No. How do you feel about the draft? Like,
is there any point anymore?
No, and that's what I think.
Is there a brand split anymore?
It made it like, I mean, they've unified the titles, so it's not like each brand's got its own title. If they are doing the draft,
they've slimmed the roster down so much with the releases that they probably don't need it anymore.
No. Saying that, you say slim the roster down with releases, we're seeing the fair few of those coming back. But,
yeah, true. We'll talk about that.
As I say, more on that later. But yeah, I think when you've got a big enough roster, fine. Like, I remember there was that phase in like, was it like the mid 2000s or something? And the roster was just absolutely like not stacked, massive, not great, but just so many. And it warranted a brand split. Now it's so streamlined. Like, unless they're going to, like they did with the first one, well, when they kind of revitalized it, where they brought up NXT talent as well. And that was quite cool. I remember like Finn Balor was like the #1 pick or something like that. And it was a really big deal.
Yeah.
They're going to make a sort of spectacle of it, then fine.
He was the Universal Champion at the time, wasn't he? That was just before he went away with injury.
Yeah. So he came up, and then I think within a month won like the Universal Championship. It was him and Seth at SummerSlam, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then like 2 days later,
within 48 hours. Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's still time. There's still a month. There's plenty of time for them to bring back talent to beef out the roster, and it may well work. But I don't know. I don't think the brand split's really necessary nowadays. You've got both belts unified. I say that with bunny ears. If they're doing a brand split, then surely they have to ununify them.
But you think so, and because the whole point of the draft is you draft the champions, and like so the specific brands, don't you? And that's like, who the first pick is obviously going to be Roman because he's the double champion, and then what's the point? There's no other main title then. So
exactly, I'm unsure.
Well, we'll
that.
see. I mean, I see them wanting to do it because it generates a bit of excitement. Maybe it's always a bit of a who's going to pop up where, is anyone going to get called up from NXT? You know, but I do get that.
Yeah.
What
right, would
next
be
up
nice.
then.
Sorry, just to very quickly go back to that. What would be nice if they did do a draft and it wasn't necessarily people that they had signed and they used that as a way of revealing that they've just re-signed or signed someone.
Yeah, so like they do in like they do in the NFL, where it's like new talent coming in. It's not necessarily moving around people who are already there. It's like bringing new people into the company.
That would make a
if
draft
it was
more
like
exciting.
NXT UK, free agents.
Yeah. Again, more on that later as well.
I don't know if that's on the list. Yeah, it's NXT UK's up in the air, isn't it? So.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Right, we'll crack there. It's next up. Sean Ross Sapp tweeted yesterday Drew McIntyre, and this is a butt clincher. Fightful confirmed that Drew McIntyre has been working through a rough back injury that it's been led to him being pulled from the road this weekend. He's not expected to need surgery, and he is still planned for Clash at the Castle. But maybe you've squeaky bum time there, innit?
I read a bit about this earlier on. So he's been pulled from the house shows this weekend, and I think pulled from house. I could be wrong, but I believe he's been pulled from house shows in the entire run up to Clash at the Castle. So it'll just be live TV appearances, and I imagine it won't be in too much of a physical capacity.
It's madness to me that you will book someone in the main event to a pay-per-view and then make them wrestle house shows the month before the main event that pay-per-view,
knowing they're coming into it with an existing injury.
That is asking for trouble.
Because I know he was off. It was a while ago now. I think it was when he was written off in the Corbin and Madcap Moss storyline, and they wrote him off for a bit there. And I don't know if that was a back injury or if it was something else. But this, I think, is like a niggling thing. I'm sure I've heard something about this like several months back as well. So. Yeah, to your point, like, why would you put someone on house shows in like the weeks building up to it, knowing they've already got an injury, a dicky back, and just I mean,
you could go more to the point of why is WWE still doing house shows when they record 7 hours of television a week?
Yeah.
Like that's enough opportunity to put fans in front of the product.
Exactly.
In our lives, but hey, we've got to make that money somehow, I guess. Right, so going on from what we said earlier about NXT UK and the sort of involvement in a draft, so there's some lingering questions about NXT UK's future. I know they've cancelled some tapings, haven't they?
I think it's due to, was it football?
It's because nobody could have envisioned the fact that when the football season started, the BT Sports might need their studio back.
I mean, saying that, they managed last season.
Yeah, true.
But Jay keeps bashing on about it, and I don't want to believe it, but he does keep saying like it feels like NXT UK's days are numbered, which it disappoints me because.
See, the thing is, Triple H knows it exists, and he wants the good talent. Vince didn't care. Vince didn't thought it was some sort of fake news.
Yeah,
he didn't know what a gallus was, mate.
I mean, I still don't know what a gallus is, and I've been watching NXT UK since it started.
It's some sort of haggis space dish, is it?
Probably something with iron brew. I don't know. Well, ask Aaron.
Iron brew sausages. That's not the technical term for an iron brew sausage.
Iron brew sausage, a gallus.
That's what you asked for in a Glasgow chippy.
Gallus and chips, please, mate. Oh man.
So speaking of Gallus, several talents from the brand are scheduled to be in Florida later this month, specifically mentioning Gallus and William Regal's Charlie Dempsey.
If Vince was still in charge, I'd worry about this, certainly for someone like Charlie Dempsey. But hopefully with it now being a different sort of creative team,
but
that'll allow him to.
Can you see him doing well in NXT 2.6?
2.6.
Now, surely you've got to think main roster. Like you don't want him in that fucking hot mess, do you?
Yeah. Gallus, I feel, will go straight to main roster. They're an established tag team, And
Well,
it looks,
yeah, I mean, I could see Wolfgang doing some sort of like wet hot American summer shenanigans in NXT. Though I think that'd be you get some mileage out of that.
fucking hell. It feels like they're trying to rebuild, not rebuild, but build up, I guess, or whatever the tag division on Raw and SmackDown now. And Gallus would be a really, really good addition. I know they're not everyone's cup of tea, but they're a competent tag team, and they're well established over here. It might well get some more eyes on, stuff over
Who
there.
would
for
you
people
have
that
as
follow
Gallus' tag team then? Would you have Wolfgang and Mark, or would you have Mark and Joe?
I'd keep it as it is, Wolfgang and Mark,
Yeah.
and have Joe as the kind of the
big boy.
the big singles guy. Although he's the smaller of the three, he's still pushed more as the singles guy within the faction, and I don't think that's bad.
He's the best wrestle boy out of the three of them.
The best wrestle boy, he is. Yeah, I'd keep them as they are in terms of who the tag team is. But yeah, it'd be cool. They're as well as them being a decent tag team, they're a faction, and I've always been a big fan of factions. There aren't that many currently roaming about in WWE, so to bring them over, and they're a bit different to everything else on there as well, like that kind of like old firm and
if you need some Scottish people to back Drew in this feud against the Bloodline,
there you go. Boom.
maybe
That's a shout.
They can do this thing. You're all Scottish. You're all Scottish. You could be friends. Like, never mind if somebody support Celtics, somebody support Rangers, but you're all the same. Probably, it's fine.
That's not a bad shout though. If it looks like they might be bringing Gallus over, what a way to introduce them. The numbers are firmly stacked against Drew with the Bloodline, so why not have him bring some heavies in?
Yeah,
it's a good shout.
Let's get to see Joe Coffey fucking eviscerate Sami Zayn, which would be hilarious.
Yes, please.
Right then, keeping with Fightful Select, a bit more twisting the knife on Vince here. Now that Vince McMahon is gone, creative have discussed Bray Wyatt for potential return to the company. Wouldn't that be a fun draft pick?
Ooh. Ooh. Yes, it would.
And this fucking blows my mind. One person indicated that Vince McMahon grew tired of Bray being so protective of his gimmick, and it was also claimed that McMahon didn't like Bray. And as it says here, said degrading things about his physique. I saw on the line he screamed at him about his physique.
I saw he'd scream. Yeah, it was very.
How has this man not just been punched in the face like really hard
multiple times by several people?
Yeah, like I know you obviously Bray was on his way out anyway, but like you think you could have a swing, wouldn't you? He's doing this.
Yeah.
He's treating you like an actual child,
which
is what he was doing. Like fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Like I was saying to Jay last night, someone needs to shoot him to make sure he can't come back.
Delete him. What do you reckon about Bray coming back? It's been speculated for ages, and people are kind of
but there's been an obstacle on the way which is no longer there.
True. Do you think he'll come back?
I think it's the only place he can come back to. I think it's the only place he'd ever fit. Like everyone wanted him in AW, and like I was banging the drum from the start. I was like, he's not going to fit in AW. There's nowhere for him. There's no point to put him. Like what you will do, there's no avenue to make that happen in AW. Everywhere else is too small for him. Like Impact aren't going to pay him what he wants. GCW, what the fuck? That would be
what's he going to do in GCW?
You know, and no one at New Japan wouldn't touch him because they're too sport based. WWE is the only place where he could do what he wants to do. He just needs a better environment. He might now have that better environment.
I'd like if he does come back, and someone asked me this yesterday. Do you want to see him come back as the Fiend, Firefly Funhouse kind of personality thing, or as like spooky cult leader? I said spooky cult leader.
Or something different. Why not do something new?
Or something completely different? Yeah, there is always that.
He's been so good at reinventing himself and having these new gimmicks and these new characters. Like, let him just say to him, "What do you want to do? What's your idea? Give us what you've got, and we'll run with it."
Yeah. I'm excited. Like if he does, like I've always been a massive fan of anything that he does, character-wise, in and out of the ring as well. Like various interviews with him, just seems like an all-round like top guy, but also like a real good mind, a real good creative mind for the business. And I know when he first left, and there was talk of him sort of going to Hollywood and doing some sort of like producing and writing. He was in
a film, wasn't he? It was like Horror Xanadu or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I'd like to see him back.
Yeah.
Time will tell.
Right. moving on to some positive news. A Peacock marketing email revealed that Charlotte Flair will be a guest on the next Broken Skull session. So Stone Cold Steve Austin's given that, and it's going to premiere on 19th of August.
Nice.
On Peacock or WWE Network if you're in the UK.
Yeah. I look forward to that, actually. I know Charlotte isn't everyone's cup of tea. It's not necessarily mine, but I am intrigued to kind of hear, provided it's not kind of in character, which it isn't. Like, for the most part, these Broken Skull sessions, they're very kind of off the cuff.
Yeah, I mean, you had Cody Rhodes talking about Zelda.
Yeah.
You? So,
Yeah.
It's not exactly in character. But she's got a lot to talk.
Yeah.
So she's got a lot. She was at the forefront of the women's revolution. Whatever you say, what her role in it was, whatever you think about it, she was there. She was having the matches. She was witnessing the change firsthand as like the figurehead of the women's division at the time. Yeah, so she's been in a fascinating position from a women's wrestling perspective to see it literally as she was moving up the company, to see it transition from the Divas era to what we've got now.
Absolutely, yeah. No, I'm looking forward to that. It'll be a really good insight, I think.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing that about 9 times in this house as Sarah watches it repeatedly and obsessively, because she's a massive Charlotte fan. And one last piece of news. It's not been officially changed yet on WWE.com, but from what you've been putting on social media, it appears that Angel Garza has his surname back.
Yay! I mean, that's promising for others that have had names changed and whatnot. I don't see Gunther suddenly changing back to Walter anytime soon.
No.
But little things like that, that's cool. It gives you hope for maybe people.
I mean, him and Humberto were literally about to enter into a feud with Maximum Male Models, so maybe temper those expectations a little bit.
I'm told that's quite entertaining to watch.
Yeah, it's all about who's the prettiest.
Yeah, it's fine.
So they need to have a first blood match. They can ugly each other up a bit, and then yeah.
I can imagine it would be like the fight in Anchorman, where it's like no touching of the hair or face. And that's it.
The only rules. Yeah, so it's good to see. As you say, it looks like Doudrop might be getting a more sensible name. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Piper Niven, is there?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, it just seems to be a little bit more common sense knocking around, which is nice to see, because that's been in short supply at the EU for the last couple of years. Yeah,
absolutely has.
Right, that'll wrap us up for WWE News. Well, if we're on Jax, we'll take a short break with a bit of Audio Slave. If you're not into us on Jax, as always, get on it. Why aren't you? Because not only do you get our amazing insight, you also get some banging tunes from my tortured brain. So I have a bit of Audio Slave. If we're next, I'll enjoy that, and we're back with you in a couple of seconds to talk about Raw and Smackdown. And we're back. Okay, we'll straight into our Raw recap. So Raw kicks off, right? Joe, you don't watch Raw all the time, do you?
I haven't watched Raw properly for about 8-9 months. And
you've seen a lot more of Raw than I have.
Recently.
Right. Yeah. Do they always start with a promo?
More often than not.
Because from doing this recap the last couple of weeks, it seems like they always start with a promo.
Yeah,
and I don't quite understand why.
I don't understand why. But saying that, it was nice to see it being Bailey, Kai, and Sky.
But they did that promo. They did these exact same people last week, mate, at the start of Raw.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't catch last week's. In that case.
I mean, the difference here was you had Bianca and Alexa came out to sort of confront them, and they had a big fight. And Alexa did on everyone because she's crazy.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
so that's nice to see. But yeah, good to see the women getting featured. That's great.
Yeah.
Love that. Just give them a match. Just put one of the tag titles. Just be like, it's Raw and the tag titles tournament starts now. Boom. Match. Here we go.
It. Yeah,
that's all you need.
That's it.
Next up, Seth Rollins defeats Angelo Dawkins. So last week he beat Montez Ford, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So he's worked its way through the Street Profits now. Obviously, it feels like this is like a feeling out process for the Profits as single stars, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, I didn't see all of this match. I saw bits and pieces, but Dawkins apparently impressed as well. Like, commentary were kind of bigging up the fact that he's worked without his top off, like he's improved his physique and everything that. So, like, there was a lot of chat. There has been a lot of chat in recent weeks, months about how good Ford looks and how much he's kind of beefed up and stuff. Angelo Dawkins has been putting in the work as well, but he looked good here. I mean, it's difficult not to to kind of come off looking good in a match against Seth. Like, great set of hands. But Angelo Dawkins showed he is more than capable of being a singles guy as well. Should that, or when that eventually comes.
Fair. Yeah, because there's a bit of a feeling, isn't it? Like Montez is going to be the guy.
Yeah.
Like, so there's a concern about what happens, but they're showing, he's going to be all right. He'll be good.
Yeah.
Next up, Kevin Owens defeated Ezekiel by referee stoppage. Basically, just powerbombed the shite out of them.
Yeah, I don't know why this is still going on. Hopefully, this is them just killing off Ezekiel and just bringing back Elias.
So this very much feels like it's written off Ezekiel so that Elias got time to grow his beard back.
Yeah, exactly that. They'll have him come out with a stick on one for a bit.
I'd like to see Owens just murder someone. I'd like to see him be in a match. It's fun.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah, that's all really to say about that. Next up, Finn Balor defeated Rey Mysterio. Remember when it came out like the other year that Finn Balor was only going to be a jobber from here on in because he was too old?
Yeah, and now look at him.
Yeah, he's had a good 6 months, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's leader of the House of Spook, beating up the Mysterios week in, week out.
I mean, just beating Rey Mysterio on the reg on TV is, on the position, is it? So
yeah.
Yeah, good on you, Finn.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely.
I mean, they'll feed into Edge eventually, but
Yeah. Oh, that's a point. Will we get that Clash at the Castle? Did they announce anything for that?
I don't know. I don't know if Edge is. Let's see. Let's just very quickly.
Because that feels like the kind of that feels like the spectacle that it.
I mean, it's close to Ireland.
Yeah.
So we have 3 matches announced for Clash at the Castle so far. We have the main event, Roman versus Drew. We have Liv Morgan versus Shayna Baszler, which they signed a contract for this week. We'll talk about that in a bit. And we have Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka versus Bayley, Dakota, and Io Sky.
Okay. I imagine we'll get it then. They're going to beef up that card, aren't they?
Oh, I mean, there can be more than 3 matches, obviously. Yeah. They can always. They can't jump the gun on this. They're doing a slow build, or for WWE is a slow build, meaning more than like 2 weeks.
More than 2 weeks. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of Dakota Sky and Io Sky, next up they defeated Dana Brooke and Tamina in the first match of the tag team title tournament.
Yeah, decent. It's nice to see that they've recognised the fact that they do still have some women's tag team championships there.
I mean, you've got to think that Kai and Sky are one of the favourites here, haven't you?
Yeah.
They're re-debuting, they're moving up, re-debuting, they're coming in red hot behind them. Yeah. They're going to be one of the teams to beat.
I would imagine so. Yeah, I'd put my money on them.
With all respect to Dana Brooke and Tamina, no.
Just no.
They ain't winning that. Yeah, so next up then, one of the matches that a lot of people have been talking about this week, Bobby Lashley defeated Ciampa in the US title. Apparently, this was an incredible match.
So I'm told,
a lot of DIY callbacks from Ciampa.
Yeah, I again saw highlights of it. I haven't watched it the whole way through, but from what I saw, it looked good. Ciampa being allowed to do a little bit more of those that followed him in Black and Gold NXT, doing a little bit more of what we know from him there.
Again, Martin, you just let the people wrestle, and it turns out really well. Who could possibly have thought this? Yeah.
Lashley looks great. I'm just happy that he hasn't kind of fallen by the wayside after he kind of had that world championship run. I thought, what are they going to do with him now? But actually, this is great. They're putting. This has been said a lot in the last week or so, putting a bit more prestige on the US title, and
just having it on TV is great. And obviously Lashley won with the Hurt Lock, but Ciampa did last in it quite a while. It wasn't like normally it's quite an immediate tap. But he did all right. So good to see. Next up, Omos squashed 2 jobbers, Andrea Guerco and Spencer Slade.
Never heard of him.
Omos.
It feels like Omos is like
what's the end game? What's the plan here? What we're building to?
I don't know.
Is he good enough to have a proper match with someone?
I don't think so. Just bring back Raw Underground and just have him stood on the door of that for a bit.
Just have the entrance to Sweaty Shane's Palace of Desire.
Palace of Desire.
It looks a lot like a car park, but don't worry about
it. Shane's sweat pen.
Oh god.
Oh god.
So Omos we don't know what's going on. They're like spinning the wheels at this point, aren't they? Like,
Aye.
just hope he gets better. If we keep, it's like, what's going on? We're booking him in 12-second squash matches and he's not improving. Well, there's your answer.
Oh man.
Next up, Dolph Ziggler defeated Chad Gable for some reason.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a match that happened.
Aye.
I'm sure it was technically very good. They're both accomplished
They're both
wrestlers,
good.
but
Yeah.
what the fuck is the point of having it on TV? I'm sure it's fine. Aaron will like it once he gets that fucking xenomorph out of his eye.
For those that don't know, join our Discord. You'll see images of whatever the fuck has happened to his eye.
Don't do it when you're having your tea or something. Maybe.
Yeah.
And in the main event, AJ Styles defeated The Miz in a no DQ match.
Boom. I mean, two of the best hands in WWE in terms of kind of having a solid match. Yeah.
Apparently, one of the. I mean, it was solid, was how I've heard it described. But one of the cool spots was Miz hitting AJ with a chair, the phenomenal forearm.
Yeah.
Which was quite cool.
Yeah. They've allowed AJ to do some interesting spots the last couple of weeks. I had it in the triple threat match the other week for the US title, like number one contender thing. And who was it? Was it against Ali? I think it was Ali, The Miz, and AJ or someone. And Ali did like his splash off the top, hit it onto The Miz. But as he hit the splash and he kind of rolled back up, Styles grabbed him, put him in the Styles Clash, and hit him with that on top. Just like little things like that. You're like, oh yeah, AJ's really good. Don't let him forget that. He's inventive.
Just let him wrestle. That's all you got to do. Let him do his thing. Right then, we'll crack on for SmackDown. So first up, we had more tag title tournament action. Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah defeated Xia Li and Shotzi. Remember when Shotzi was a thing? When everyone liked Shotzi? When she was getting pushed?
Now, you see, that disappoints me. I feel like that should have gone the other way. They've done not a lot with Shotzi. Shotzi or Xia Li, since either of them came up to main roster. I don't know what had got Raquel in tag team stuff. I mean,
they're massive on Raquel, aren't they? Because tall.
Yeah, but then in that case, have her in a singles run. Don't have her in here with Aaliyah, who again are just spinning the wheels on. She's been there. I think she's been signed there longer than anyone else on main roster, probably with the exception of, I don't know, Randy Orton. Like, she's been there forever, and they haven't done out with her. I don't know what they've put her in here. They could have found someone else to put in that instead of Raquel and Aaliyah. But
so
Aaliyah
and
Shotzi
with WWE in 2015.
Yeah, she's been there ages.
Yeah,
but she was like, I think she was on was she on Tough Enough or something like that? I know she's on that documentary on the network. That's when like Corbin first starts there and a few other people, and they're all young and fresh faced. And she's been through like various name changes, and they've just never done anything with her.
Stop trying to make Aaliyah happen.
That's it, exactly.
Right, next up we had Drew McIntyre promo. Interestingly, so the gist of this promo was he basically said he came out without his sword for the first time in a while. He mentioned about like not needing any help or any weapons to beat Roman. So it seems like he's going for a more sort of authentic presentation, less Loch Ness Monster and like shortbread and Ockeye and all that nonsense, and more just I'm from Scotland.
Sausages.
Yeah, more I'm from Scotland. I'll beat the fuck out of you.
Yeah, that's much better. That's what we want.
Yeah,
just have him be like that when he first came from NXT to Raw, and he was just he was an out and out heel then, but like just more like that with him just being a lot more serious and just like fucking no nonsense.
Yeah.
And less with the nonsense like
Scarlett came out as well and cut a little promo basically saying Cross was going to murder everyone, and then the Usos attacked Drew from behind and took him out. Yeah, and Scarlett was like, yeah, but Cross is going to kill everyone. So it's interesting. Cross is a heel, obviously, but he's sort of against both Roman and McIntyre. Yeah, so he's just like an agent of chaos really at this point.
The Usos kept like they turned around to Scarlett and said like, this is our house or this is our island or whatever. Or,
yeah, you came to Bloodline country or something.
Exactly. And Scarlett turns around and says, "Oh, that's funny." Carrion says the same thing. Like, yes, give me all of that. Give me all of that.
So next up, I got a little bit confused by this segment. But the Viking were making their way to the ring for some reason. Was it a match? I don't know. Then Kofi just decided to attack them with a kendo stick. And then they just and then they just battered them because there's two of them and they're fucking massive. Because
of course they did. This made zero sense to me. I didn't quite get what was happening.
But it's nice to see the Viking Raiders. Like, they're slowly rehabilitating them, aren't they? Like, if we can get it to like even half a level of what War Machine were, then we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Speaking of returns, Hit Row are back.
Yes, Hit Row.
Not all of Hit Row, because some of them are tag team champions in AW. But Top Dollar, B-Fab, and Ashanti Leodonis made the return. They squashed Brandon Scott and Trevor Irvin, whoever they are, jobbers, and they got a promo saying they're back. Go to Hit Row. Yeah,
I'm happy about that. They're the original three as well, because they introduced Swerve after. I think they'd already got together as a thing, and Swerve was brought in as the final bit of the presentation. So they're like on social media, like they've been calling themselves the OG3 or something like that.
Yeah, the three original members of Hit Row.
Yeah. But that's cool.
So,
I'm pleased to see them. Definitely.
Next up, we had basically Liv Morgan's contract signing for Clash at the Castle. Ronda Rousey's there for some reason. Yeah,
sweet. Brilliant. She's absolutely coming in to cause nonsense and shit.
It looks like they're building towards Baszler versus Ronda, which is a match they should have done a long time ago.
Yeah. There's plenty of backstory there, in and out of WWE.
Yeah. So that'd be fun to see eventually.
Aye.
Next up, Drew McIntyre and Madcap Moss beat the Usos.
Oh.
Which is mental when you think about how protected the Usos have been in their tag team matches.
Yeah, man. That's that I say gives me the fear, because I don't fear them losing it. But
I'm talking. So the Street Profits couldn't beat them like 3 times. Who are an established, like, trained, practice tag team.
Former tag team champions.
Yeah, Drew McIntyre and Madcap Moss. And Moss didn't even come out at the start of the match. He came out like 5 minutes in. And they beat the Usos like easy enough. I mean, I know you're trying to make Drew look like a monster and a fair play, but that just makes the Street Profits look like absolute punks.
Exactly, at the expense of the Usos and the Street Profits, because it's not just the Usos that are kind of defeated here and look bad. It's like, well,
what are all the teams they beat handily over the last like sort of 6 months? I mean, WWE squashing their tag team division to put over their singles wrestlers. Who'd have thought? We've never seen that before. And then onto the main event, the second match that everyone's been talking about. Gunther defeated Nakamura to retain the Intercontinental title. Yeah, I mean, I've seen a few like clips of this match.
Look great.
You need to know about it was stiff as fuck.
Yeah, of course it was. My only gripe here is should have given them a bit longer. Give them half an hour.
Yeah.
But what they got into that, as you say, stiff as fuck. It was great. Really, really good. And again, IC title match closing out SmackDown, like prestige again.
Yeah.
US title, IC title on TV.
These TV
matches.
titles should be main eventing Raws and Smackdowns, like AEW do with the TNT title when they have that defended on like a main event of Dynamite. Like these should be your main events. We don't need like in back. There's a dark past where they would have done Drew Moss versus the Usos as the main event here and put Nakamura and Gunther on beforehand. Yeah, because they were the pay-per-view guys. But this is the right way to do it. Put the title on at the end. It makes it seem more important.
Yeah, you never know.
So, yeah, it's good to see that happen.
They might treat us. They might have the IC title on a pay-per-view.
Oh, imagine that. I mean, just run this back at the pay-per-view and give it 25 minutes.
Yes, please. Yes,
the UK crowd knows Gunther really well because he's worked all over the UK.
Exactly.
Everyone loves Nakamura. Why not put this on?
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Sound right. That's going to wrap us up for the WWE section. We'll take a quick break. If you're on Jax, you can have some Blackstone Cherry and some Funeral for a Friend. And we'll be back in a few minutes to talk all things AEW. And we are back. So we'll crack on with some AEW news before we move on to our recaps. And our first story, well, it was a big thing that happened this week. It was the return of CM Punk. We'll talk all about that in a little bit. But we got something on it. So PW Insider was told that despite his return to AEW, CM Punk is still rehabbing his foot injury, and the severity of his injury was not at work. Apparently, it was, quote, crushed, I believe was the phrase they used to describe it. It doesn't seem likely that he'll wrestle before or after the 4th. Well, you've got two conflicting stories here. So Peter Insider reporting that it wasn't kept a secret backstage, and he was out in full sight of everyone. Well, meanwhile, Fightful indicates there was a restricted area backstage, and Punk's return was kept secret from, quote, much of the roster, including some of the people actively involved in the show crushing brawl on Dynamite. So that was like Blackpool Combat Club, Jericho Appreciation Society, everyone was out there. So believe what you will. Based on, I don't think it's all the commentators, because JR's call was brilliant, and it was incredibly authentic.
Yeah. Organic, like very natural, yeah.
And obviously, on top of all this, they're planning. They haven't officially announced it, but they're planning a title unification match between Punk and Moxley at All Out.
I mean, September the 4th ain't all that far away, is it?
No. Yeah, but I mean, so it says there like Punk won't. It doesn't seem likely that Punk will wrestle before All Out. Punk shouldn't wrestle before All Out.
No,
that's
not.
the draw. That's the big thing.
Yeah. Agreed.
And that match is going to happen. That match is going to absolutely slap, because I couldn't call it right now.
I was going to say,
you think,
could you put in, like, who do you think is taking that?
I mean, you think Punk, obviously, because he didn't get his title run, and like they want to do this summer Punk thing, and like in terms of the two guys, like Punk's got a short time frame for you to be able to do this.
Yeah.
And so you think, like, if you want the belt on Punk, it's kind of got to be now.
Mm-hmm.
But Moxley's just been on such a fucking tear this year. Like,
Absolutely.
how could you sit John Moxley down and be like, mate, we've got to take the belt off you?
Absolutely not.
I don't want to be the guy who tells him. He is. Spoiler for the end of the year. I'm going to be banging lots of drums for Moxley to be rest of the year.
I mean, you already are, but
even more so. Yeah, he has been. If you look at his body of work so far this year, it has been absolutely flawless.
Mm-hmm.
Even the deep heavy.
Yeah.
You know, what a guy. Speaking about returns, Peter Insider also mentioned that, quote, just about everyone believes that Kenny Omega will return as the Young Bucks partner in the AEW Trios title tournament on next week's Dynamite, which is mad. Like, Kenny Omega coming back on an episode of Dynamite.
Yeah, not at all out, not at anything out.
But they've kind of backed themselves to the corner here, because the tournament concluded. But you can't bring Kenny back like for the last match of the tournament. If he's in the tournament, he's got to be in the tournament.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's cool though. Like, I'm happy to see him, but when that time comes.
Oh man, I missed. I didn't realize I'd missed Kenny so much until I started thinking about it. Like, because like I will admit, like towards like the end of his title run, I was like the tiniest bit sick of his heel character. Because it was he was good and it was great, but he was designed to be so obnoxious that you kind of wanted him to go away a little bit.
Yeah.
But now here we are, like sort of 8 months on, and it's like, I just really want Kenny back now. I really want to go murder people. Even if it's all my favorites, even Snapdragon's Eddie Kingston to oblivion. I think I'm okay with that. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, if he does, that's what a back-to-back, like 2 weeks of Dynamite this will be. Like Punk coming back this week. If Kenny comes back next week, like the run will be just straight fire. Huge. All the way in.
Yeah, man.
Again, more like this is so. I mean, just AEW, they've done all right the last few months, but you could really tell they've been working with like a reduced roster,
limited. Yeah.
But it's now also expected that Adam Cole will be cleared to compete relatively soon, as per Wrestling Observer's Dave Meltzer, Daddy Dave, with the scoop there. So Cole said importantly he's not going to be cleared for the tournament. I don't know if that was shoot or whether that was kayfabe. Okay. So that was the reason he turned on the last week. Like he was like, "Yeah, we can't win the trios titles together because we're not ready to compete, and so you're not going to pick Bobby Fish. So we're going to take you out the tournament as well." So that was the whole sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Adam Cole back as well. It's all coming together now. We should hopefully be in for a really strong finish of the year for AEW here. Which is great.
Absolutely. Like you say, they've been plagued with injury the last few months or so, and whilst again to your point, like they've gotten by with it. Now there's kind of murmurings of certain people coming back, and you realise how much you've missed a lot of those being on TV and the impact that they have. And as you say, like it looks like it'll be a strong finish for the year.
I mean, it's been really fun as well. We've been able to build up guys like Brody King, who took on Mox. We got guys like Takeshita just doing like amazing stuff, and his capacity in there. So, but while it's been and like Will Hobbs, they've started to elevate the likes of Hobbs and Starks. But now, obviously, when you need to sell pay-per-view buys, you need Punk.
Yeah.
You need Adam Cole to be on the poster for these things.
Yeah.
And it's good to get him back.
Mm.
And one last bit of news: PlayStation Game Size, is that like a website?
Yes, I believe so.
They tweeted that THQ Nordic's release date for AEW Fight Forever is February 2023, which is interesting because it has a placeholder release date of December 31st, which means they're hoping to get out this year. Like you normally don't put a year-end date on and then miss the year. So you'd put a year-end date on, hoping to have it out. I mean, like it was originally planned for September, I think.
Yeah.
I know like the holy grail for game releases is normally like around November time because that hits the Christmas period.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they'd want to hit that if they could, but if it just needs more time, it needs more time. Like, I mean, from a personal point of view, take as long as you want. That's absolutely fine. There's always games to play.
Exactly. Not short of games to play.
Yeah. So yeah, until we get an official word from AEW or THQ, I think. It's no one really knows. It's all kind of up in the air here, isn't it? So sound right. That'll do us for some AEW news. We'll have one quick break, a little bit of Real Big Fish if you're on Jax, and then we'll pop back and run down the weekly shows. And we're back. Okay, we'll pop straight into AEW Dynamite. This is really funny. So the first match on the show this week was Darby Allin versus Brody King in a coffin match.
Why not?
And fight went a bit wonky and like cut off the first 5 minutes of the feed.
Oh, okay.
So I was sat watching like literally a waiting for signal screen for like 5 minutes, and then literally it comes in, and the first thing I see is Brody King literally covered in blood from like his face to his belly button, jumping off the apron through a table, and Darby Allin getting out of the way and was splashing himself through a table. And I'm like, oh, it's okay, here we go. Yep, this is how this is going to be.
Straight in.
This match was hilarious. It was just bloody.
Bonkers.
It was, it was just all shit had in the original matches. So like Brody's like apparently now new favorite thing is to just grab Darby by his belt loops and throw him as hard as he can to the guardrail. He does that about 3 times a match now, which is great. A lot of shenanigans. Obviously, it's a coffin match, no rules. The lights go off. House of Black come out. They're beating up on Darby. Then Buddy goes to open the coffin, and Sting is in there already. So he pops out, and like, it's so funny. So Buddy has to like sort of sell like the surprise for as long as it takes a 60-odd-year-old Sting to get out of a coffin.
Whenever you're ready, mate. Come on.
And then Sting wellies him with the bat, obviously. And then the finish is really cool. So the coffin's on the outside. It's open. It's ready to go. Thumbtack's in the lid. And Brody's Brody's big thing he's been doing is he's been choking Darby out in like a chokehold and then just like dropping his unconscious body. Darby managed to escape out of that, and he got the chain that Brody King wears to the ring and actually choked Brody out on the apron and like, made him pass out. And then Brody just fell. Don't know how he fell off the apron, landed in the and the lid like lovely, looks amazing, just closed on top of him.
Yeah.
It was a super cool finish. Darby gets his win. A few people were upset that Brody didn't win this. Obviously, Brody's been getting a really big push in AEW lately, but don't forget this is Darby's match. Like it's just a match.
Yeah. He hasn't lost the coffin match.
He's lost the last 2 matches against Brody, so he needed to sort of get one here to keep the feud going. I think they'll do something mega silly at All Out.
Yeah.
To end this, because Brody tweeted a picture of him just like pissing blood all over the place.
Awesome
afterwards, he said, "This is not over." And it's like, all right, okay,
fine, give me more of that then.
I mean, for most of this match, Brody looked like a murder in a horror film in the last 5 minutes. When he's been like done in a bit. But yeah, it was great, really, really fun. Following up from that, we had Chris Jericho and John Moxley cutting promos. They did Mox first, and then Jericho afterwards. Nothing really outrageous on them, but it was a really good way to build towards the main event, and it made the main event seem massive. I mean, it was a pay-per-view level main event, but this really sort of laid the foundations, got you really hype at the start of the show, which was nice. Next up, then we had Andrade and Rush defeated the Lucha Bros, and Jesus Christ, Rush is all right, isn't
he? He's not half bad, is he?
He's pretty decent. He had a banger against was it Penta the other week?
Oh, yeah.
Which was incredible. He had an amazing match against Dragon Lee at the Ring of Honor pay-per-view.
Yeah.
He's been on. I mean, he had a great match against Moxley. the other week. He had a title match against Moxley, which was fantastic. Andrade's also amazing. You know, you forget about Andrade sometimes.
Yeah.
He's up there a little bit, but like he comes to a match like this, and like all four guys just absolutely standing out.
Yeah.
Absolute nonsense. Like, I mean, Roosh hit the bull's horns on Phoenix. Like, it sounded so horrible. I thought Phoenix was legitimately knocked out. But yeah, the sort of there was a nice bit towards the end of the match where they tied Penta's mask on to the ropes, and he dived like off. He took his mask off and dived on a pin to break it up, like
damn,
keep the match alive, which was really cool. And then I think Roosh hit him with something disgusting while he didn't have his mask on, and just like pushed him out the ring. They hit Elliot Low, which is just like hammerlock. It's hammerlock DDT. He used to do NXT, but he does like a leg sweep to it as well now. It makes it look even more disgusting.
Yeah.
Basically turns it into a bit like EC3's old move, you know, with the 1% where he like did the spike on the head.
Yeah.
But it's the other way around. But yeah, it looks sick. It looks really good. Then we have an announcement of the trios tournament brackets. Fuck me, this is all killer. It's like, I mean, it's like on one side, it's so next week we're getting on one side it's like the Young Bucks and someone. We've got Dragon Lee, Roosh, and Andrade. We've got United Empire, which is Aussie Open and Will Ospreay.
That surprised me. That was a surprising entry in there for me. I didn't see that coming.
They're obviously really high on especially Aussie Open, I think, from their appearances in AEW.
Yeah.
So it's really good to see them. We have a House of Black, Dark Order, the Trustbusters, which is Ari Davari's new stable, including Parker Boudreaux, and the Best Friends. And yeah, so some solid teams.
Be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be just madness in it. And I don't know if it's all under trios rules, whether it's just so in Chikara. I'm not going to reference Chikara too much. In Chikara, when they did King of Trios, they did it under like lucha rules. So that was like every time somebody leaves the ring, it counts as a tag.
Oh, okay.
So if you're like having a fight, then you just get out the ring. The next person
has to get in.
I don't know whether they'll do that. If they do, I really like it because it really makes the match. It keeps especially for like the fuckery that the Young Bucks are going to do and sort of stuff like that, and like the fast-paced nature of most of these teams.
Are Wardlow and FTR in it or not?
No.
They should. I mean, they should be.
But then you got to have them lose. It's how do you
put the trios belts on them as well? Put all the belts on them.
I think the whole point of this is to sort of spread the gold out a bit. I mean, I've got so we'll talk about this in a second. So first up, we had a promo. The Bucks were in the locker room with Brandon Cutler, and they basically thanked Hangman for saving them last week against Adam Cole when he turned on them. And they basically said, "Will you be our partner in the trios tournament?" And Hangman said no. He basically said no. He said, you know, when you guys turned on me, he said, like, the Dark Order were here for me. They were my friends. I've not been a very good friend to them lately. I need to show them some support. They're in a tournament. I can't, in good faith, be in the tournament on a different team. So he said, yeah, no, I'm not doing it. You have to find someone else.
But what's weird is, why did he come out and save him the other week then to turn around and go, no, I don't trust you?
No, he didn't say he didn't trust him. He said he didn't, out of respect for the Dark Order, because they're in the tournament, he didn't want to join a competing team.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Which leads me to believe that maybe there'll be some sort of situation where Cole beats up someone from the Dark Order and it ends up being maybe Hangman, Silver Reynolds taking on the Bucks in the final.
Oh. Yeah, that'd be right.
And in that situation, I probably want to actually put it on the Dark Order. But I can't see it happening. I think the Bucks and Kenny are the first champions because they're going to set that up for Red Dragon and Cole to fight on eventually. So we'll see. Next up, Luchasaurus squashed Anthony Henry. Anthony Henry's I like. It's always nice to see him. Is he signed now as well? It came out that he signed the deal.
I'm not sure. Is he?
Let me just. I should ready.
Where are we at?
Yes, Anthony Henry signed.
He is.
He signed on that like sort of Blake Christian, Josh Wood sort of deal.
Right.
He's not got like the all elite graphic, but he's committed to dates and he's working with them and stuff like that. It's good to see. Love Anthony Henry. I love his tag team with whatchamacallit, with what's his name?
Pass.
The guy from the Wingman, big guy. not Cesaro, only the other guy.
I can't remember his name.
Drake, JD Drake.
Oh, yeah.
I love the technical the workhorse, the workhorseman. It's really, really good. So yeah, I'd love to see him. Christian cuts a promo afterwards, just carrying on his shower of bastardry, which is nice to see. I mean, him and Luchasaurus are going to do something nasty at all out, aren't they? Like they're going to have they're going to have some horrible, bloody, nasty, no DQ match or something.
Yeah, it'll be vicious.
I mean, Jungle Boy's already tried to kill him with a car, so I don't know how they can escalate that.
That's the entry level. Like, where'd you go up from
yeah,
there?
that's where you start in this feud. Like, where's it going to finish? Like, actual murder. Like, Jungle Boy cuts Christian's heart out live on pay. Right, next up we had a Miro promo. He basically is raging against the House of Black. Julia appears and like sort of touches the side of his face that's all like black and messed up. And she asks him to embrace the gift that they've given him. First of all, he says that she can't touch him, only one woman can touch him.
Hello.
Which is, yeah, sowing some seeds there. And he said he's going to use the gift they've given him to destroy the House of Black. So
that's going to be fucking excellent.
Yeah,
just have him go on a tear up for the House of Black.
Miro's holy crusade for the House of Black. It's going to be fucking lovely.
Miro and fucking Brody King. Yes, please.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah, just let them go 20 minutes.
Just let them go 20 minutes and beat the tar out of each other.
That'd be a good time. Next up then, Jay Lethal came out with Satnam and Sanjay to talk some bollocks. Basically, he wants another match against Wardlow, even though we just lost one, but it's fine. Wardlow comes out and is like, yeah, have another one for reasons. And then they're about to beat him up. FTR come out, make the save, and they hit a big rig on Jay Lethal, which is lovely to see.
Always good to see.
Next up, Ricky Starks beats up Aaron Solo. So this match was really fun. It wasn't a big build or anything, but they did a lot of good work on social media during the week. So Ricky Starks and Aaron Solo were like a tag team back in WWE in developmental.
Yeah.
So they sort of leaned into that an awful lot, and they had some like also got to see that Cole Carter with his, he was in Tony D'Angelo's stable, wasn't he, in NXT?
Oh, he was. Yeah.
He's already got a commentator dressing like an Italian gangster.
Oh God,
which is beautiful. Obviously, there was a lot of when he first came into WWE, to AEW, sorry, and fought Ricky Starks. There's a lot of references to him sleeping with fishes. Yeah, match was fine. Ricky hit one, he hit a really nice spear. Ray's getting the push, obviously. It's good to see. He's in this he's going to chew his way through the factory, I think, to get back to fighting Hobbs, which I think's fine for him. Gives him a lot of screen time. Lets him just annihilate some jobbers and look really good doing it.
Do you reckon we get that all out?
Hobbs v Starks.
Yeah.
I think that's the time to do that. You can kill QT Marshall like 2 weeks before, and then start. Hobbs can be his reward. Next up, Jade Cargill defeated Madison Reigns, retained the TBS title. Match was fine. I don't know. Madison Reigns, great. I'm glad she's here in the women's division, like as its coach. I wouldn't make her wrestle all that much on TV. I think she's maybe not in her best years for wrestling. But the match was okay. Jade still looked good. It's important. She got the win. Yeah, Jade rumbles on. This is just a filler feud, I think, to sort of like get us to Athena versus Jade at All Out. Yeah.
Do you think Athena's taking it?
Well, I had a theory, which has gone out the window now, that Athena was going to lose and then Chris Statlander was going to win, and that was going to lead to some sort of friction between those two.
Okay.
But Chris Statlander's just fucked her knee, and she's out for like 6 months. So
hadn't she not long come back from an injury anyway?
Yeah, so she and then came back, and now she's injured the other knee. She's torn her ACL and her meniscus.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So they announced that on this week's Dynamite because of this, which is interesting. They announced because of this, because she was ranked 1, that Toni Storm is now ranked number 1 again, which is she's currently in a tag team with Thunder Rosa, who's the champ. So they're probably going to have another match, and I wouldn't be surprised if they put the belt on Toni at All Out. Which makes me think they might not do Athena because they might not switch both women's. I think they'll do one or the other. I don't think they'll do two.
Not both, yeah.
So I couldn't tell you which one they're going to do. It's a coin flip. And then the main event, Jon Moxley defeated Chris Jericho to retain the AEW World Interim Championship. Don't call it the Interim Championship around Moxley because he gets really angry. This match was phenomenal. It was just hard stuff. Like, so Mox, the whole build up of this was Moxie said he wanted a Lionheart Jericho, and Jericho came out to White Zombie, Lionheart music, like gear. He had the stupid little ponytail, the back of his head.
Yeah, like it was black and yellow trunks.
It was
awesome.
Really cool. Like, it's obviously Jericho's got this massive like history of character, and it's great that he can just dip back into these little aspects of it all the time. Like, he did that the Paymaker against Kingston.
Yeah, he did that a little bit with it's like the Labors of Jericho the year before last or last year, and tapping into some of his old kind of character bits there. So when they brought back like Juventud Guerrero, it was like, and they had like the kind of throwback to their kind of
they
time
had like
in
WCW Jericho, they had like the Paymaker against Gage. It was really cool. This match was phenomenal. Like, Mox just pisses blood like on demand at this point, doesn't he? At one point, Jericho ripped his earring out.
Oh yeah,
ripped Mox's earring out of his ear. Jericho got his nose rebusted. So he was pissing blood out of his nose. There was like Moxie kicked out of the Judas effect, which was nuts. Jericho started out like proper Lionheart style. He was going for like the submission moves, like Man of 1,000 holds and stuff like that. And it just evolved into like an absolute slob, just them beating the piss out of each other. It was a phenomenal match, absolutely fantastic. Moxie picked up the win. It was with the he didn't submit. I think he'd gone with the Death Rider. But yeah, it was like Moxie's been on. I said before, Moxie's been on an absolute. He's putting on like pay-per-view quality matches and doing it in a way that elevates the people he wrestles as well, which has been such a rare thing to see.
Yeah.
This I mean, credit to Jericho, man. This time last year, he was in bad shape. He couldn't move very well in the ring. I know he had that big health scare when he was over in the UK. He had like a blood clot in his lungs. And fair play to him, man. He's rolled back the years. He looks
massive. He
looks 10, 15 years
phenomenal shape. Yeah.
And he's moving so well in the ring now. His matches are really good. This was a really fun match because it was like a throwback to Mox and Jericho. Was obviously when Jericho lost the title, actually. There was some bubbly references from 2.0 earlier on. They got a promo saying they had a little bit of the bubbly ready for when Jericho won, which is good. So Moxley wins. Jericho Appreciation Society come out, put the beating on him. BCC come out to try and even up more of like Sammy Guevara 2.0 come out. Hager's out there. They've got the numbers advantage, and then cult personality hits. Like, boom. No one expected it. The fucking arena erupts. Like, I'm at home just like doing shocked Pikachu face. Like, no one saw this coming. No one reported on it. No one had a clue it was going to happen.
Absolutely nothing.
CM Punk's back. He runs into the ring, cleans house. He's hopping on one leg to prove that his foot's all right, which is good. And then him and Mox have a stare down, and Moxie just flips him off and takes the title and leaves.
Fuck it.
So that's going to be that's going to be your all-out main event. So there we go. Right, and we'll crack on quickly through Rampage. Started out with a Bryan Danielson promo. He's interrupted by Daniel Garcia. So nothing really groundbreaking here, but there's a few little hints laid that makes you think that Garcia is gonna turn on Jericho at some point. Like, Danielson talks about how like he respected him until Jericho got into his ear and sort of made him what he is now. And like Danielson's just probing a little bit into like the why did you do this? Like, what? That's not who you are. And it's like, because he's an odd fit for the JS. Like, he's a pure wrestler, and like he's trying to be something he's not, which is part of the character, which is part of like what makes it interesting and weird. And there's a lot of speculation that he's going to either join the BCC or he's going to just turn on Jericho anyway, or it's going to be some sort of intrigue there, which is pretty nice.
Definitely.
Right, next up then we had the newlywed Sammy Guevara, and as she's now going by Ty Mello, that's her maiden name. She's Conti was her ex-husband's name, so she's not using it anymore. So Sammy Guevara, Ty Mello defeated Dante Martin and Sky Blue. This was a match with the AAA into the tag team titles. Really fun match. Really good to see Ty wrestle again, because she hasn't done it for a while now. She's been like Sammy's on for too long and not been going in the ring. Now that Anna Jay is in the JS, maybe you think they're going to have some tag matches as well, which would be nice. Because they were on a bit of a tear before Anna got injured. Dante and Sammy obviously are two of your good flippy boys. They do all that nice stuff.
All that good
At one point, Sky Blue's getting better all the time. Sky Blue looks decent in this. At one point, Dante Martin jumped on. So Ty was like lying on the floor and they're trying to get up, and Dante jumped on her back and used it to do a Canadian Destroyer on Sammy.
Oh, damn.
Which is really cool.
Awesome.
There was a spot on the outside where Sammy shoved Ty out the way. She didn't eat a dive by Dante. But then eventually Ty hits the TKO on Sky, picks up the win. Yeah, fun match.
Nice.
Really good, really fun energy. Not a 5-star classic by any means.
No,
But it was
fun, entertaining.
Just damn good fun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, then we had Parker Boudreau's TV AEW debut. We've been on Dark a few times before.
Mm-hmm.
He just squashed Sonny Kiss in about a minute.
Yeah.
Nice to see Sonny Kiss on TV. Wish they got a little bit more time, but put a pin in that. We'll come back to that.
Mm-hmm.
And because next up we had Beardhausen. That's a team of Danhausen and Eric Redbeard.
Yeah.
Eric Redbeard's a local. He's from Minnesota, which is where this was being filmed.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, they lost to the Gun Club.
Boo!
It was a fun match, but there was fuckery because like Billy Gunn got involved at the end and sort of set up the finish, and I think Austin hit the famous around Danhausen for the win. After the match, Billy Gunn basically berated the Gun Club and said like they need to toughen up. They're making him miss the Acclaimed because they're so shit, and they need to get better basically. And he's got a match for them next week, which I think is them versus the Varsity Blondes.
Mm-hmm.
So they're probably going to squash them or like. After the match, there's been like an ongoing thing where Stokely Hathaway's been like trying to recruit people, and so he's got Ethan Page, he's got someone else, I can't remember. And he's Lee Moriarty. He's got Lee Moriarty. He's got Ethan Page, and he's trying to get the Gun Club now. But Billy keeps like sort of getting in the way. Don't listen to him. Fuck him off. So he keeps trying to give them business cards. So yeah, so we'll see how that sort of all sort of plays out. And then the main event, Orange Cassidy, who's again under the radar, having an incredible year in sort of in ring terms. He had that absolute banger with Will Ospreay at Forbidden Door.
Fucking right,
which,
he did,
one of the matches of the year. He's been putting really, really good matches all over Dynamite. And here he had a really, really fun match with Ari Daivari, who's another guy who is really underrated in the ring, I think.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he was part of the cruiserweight division, wasn't he? Like 205 Live.
He was on 205. So he's coming to AW as an on-screen wrestler and talent. He's also in a producer role as well. He put together the women's tag match that was on last week, which was Britt and Jamie versus Tony, which was a lot of people said a lot of good things about. So he's obviously making moves in AW on both sides of the camera, which is really good to see.
Yeah.
So Orange Cassidy got the win with an orange punch. Post match, the Trustbusters came in to do the beatdown. Sonny Kiss ran through save, but Sonny Kiss turns on Orange Cassidy, hoofs him in the dick, and joins the Trustbusters. So heel Sonny Kiss. Let's see where this goes. Yeah. The first thing I thought was just put Sonny Kiss and Parker Boudreau in the tag team together, because that would just be a really cool, like big, small combination.
Yeah. I'd like to see that.
Cool. That's AEW. Again, nothing groundbreaking. Just two really solid episodes of TV. We're on the build all out, pumps back. So,
yeah. No, it's good. It's not that point. It doesn't feel like they're kind of treading water there. Like there's enough story to kind of
there's clear progression all the time.
That's it. Yeah.
They're moving the storylines forward. Like everything's happening for a reason now. Because it felt like with the whole like Forbidden Door was really fun, but it felt like a bit of a creative speed bump in a little way.
Yeah, it did.
That we didn't quite. Every sort of had to spin its wheels for like a month or so. We couldn't do storylines because we had all this like New Japan stuff coming in. So it's nice to see it all sort of
focus back again.
Now. Yeah. Right then, we'll have another quick break. If you're on Jax, you can have some Gaslight Anthem and Red Hot Chili Peppers, and then we'll come back and give you some rest of the world news and recaps. Right, we're back with some rest of the world goodness. Just one little bit of news and then a lot of shows to talk about. So we'll sort of space it out best we can. First, all the last bit of news. So Conrad Thompson said on the My World podcast with Jeff Jarrett. God, everyone's got a podcast, haven't they?
Haven't
Absolutely
they?
Everyone. How are we they're stealing our fucking lunch money, man. Like, don't listen to Jeff Jarrett, listen to us. We'll tell you what Jeff Jarrett says, so you don't have to listen to it. So it was reported that Ric Flair's last match was, quote, part of a bigger master plan. But he quickly added, no, it does not involve Ric Flair wrestling again. You even have to say that, isn't it? Like, no, we're not having Ric Flair wrestle again. It's mad that in 2022 we have to say no, Ric Flair is not wrestling again. His Starcast company, though, has trademarked Southwest Championship Wrestling, which might seem that he's maybe in the process of setting up promotion, which would be interesting.
I mean, we saw how that went last time. Global Force Wrestling, anyone?
I mean, that wasn't Conrad.
Conrad.
We're talking Conrad. We're talking Conrad here, not Jeff Jarrett.
Oh, okay. I got the fear for a moment. I thought it was Jeff Jarrett.
This is not a gold-selling pyramid scheme. This is actual wrestling promotion.
That was going to be my next point. Ooh, thank fuck.
Yeah, where can I buy my Where can I buy my SCW gold from? That's what I want to know. So yeah, I mean, always good to see new places, people to work. Conrad obviously has got lots of experience in the business. He knows people. He's done, like, he's been doing this for years, hasn't he? He's got contacts everywhere.
Yeah.
So he's probably well placed to do this, and from a sort of financial and like sort of networking perspective.
Networking, yeah.
So between this and we've also got the Freddie Prinze Jr.
That's what I was just about to say. Freddie Prinze Jr.
on its way as well. So it's good to see people who are well placed to enter the business be able to do so, which is good.
Yeah.
Right. Next, it's time for me to talk a bit more because I've not done enough of that this week, apparently. So this weekend, I was fortunate enough to go to the opening event of the Progress Deadly Viper Tour in Sheffield. So this is like a tour of it's all in the north. It seems like it's all in the north.
No, they're doing Birmingham. I've got tickets to the Birmingham one.
When they only ever run London, that's effectively the north, mate, isn't it? You know.
Yeah. No,
it's more northern. So they you said they're coming out of London for the first real time here, aren't they? So
yeah, they're doing Sheffield, Birmingham, Manchester, Newcastle. I think that's it, and then they've got the show on the weekend of Clash at the Castle in Cardiff.
In Wales.
Yeah.
So I've got tickets for the Manchester show as well. I think we go to that in October.
Oh, good. I didn't realise you're going to that. Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the first one. Sheffield. Stacked card, like super. The show was fun as fuck. The venue, the card was hot. The venue was nice and cool, which was lovely because it was super warm yesterday. I mean on Saturday. Not yet. It's Tuesday. I don't forget.
You've already pulled the curtain back.
They've forgotten about that. No, it's fine. We can just we'll get away with it. So we kicked off with Sunshine Machine defeating Greedy Souls to retain the Progress Tag Team Championships. Oh my! This is the match where I got Sunshine Machine.
Yeah. I didn't before, and the match where I got them was on the Super Strong Style weekend in the Triple Threat ladder match, which I put in my match of the year so far. And again, that's like you. That's where I got them. Was like, yeah.
So this was very much just give us the Young Bucks versus FTR, but for like 250 quid.
Yeah.
Because Greedy Souls are sort of like real bread and butter, sort of hard-hitting tag team. Sunshine Machine are your top flippy boys. Chuck Mambo has just got charisma leaking out of every pore in his body.
He has.
I haven't seen someone with that much like natural, just likability since like a Chris Travis or from back then. Yeah. He is phenomenal. He is. I mean, TK is really good as well.
There's a reason why they've got a lot of belts. They're Progress Tag Championships. I think they're Rev Pro Tag Team Champions. And Chuck Mambo is also Riot Cabaret's champion.
Oh, sweet. Nice.
Yeah, he won it at their first show a month or so ago.
But they were super over. I actually have seen Greedy Souls before. They were at a TNT show. I didn't realize till they came out.
Okay.
In their gear. They wrestled Kingston North.
Nice.
And then they had a really good match with them. But yeah, this was a really fun match. There was a slightly awkward spot on the outside where TK was getting ready to do a sort of shooting star press game, and he had to like wait for 5 seconds and then tell one of Greedy Souls to like stand somewhere else so he could hit the spot.
Oh, really?
Which wasn't great, but the match itself banged. It was loads of fun stuff, like proper flippy stuff. Chuck Mambo got the hot tag to TK and like went did nonsense. Yeah, really, really fun. Everyone did the jobs really well.
Nice.
Next up, we had Gene Money defeated Maggot in what can only describe as one of the best comedy matches I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So the sort of ongoing story of this match was there kept being ref bumps. So the ref got hit. So Money went in for a clothesline. Maggot moved out of the way. Money nailed the ref. Then they tried to pick the ref up. They were like, they had a shake in the ring, like, oh, that was your fault. And they know it was your fault. So then the crowd started chanting at Maggot, say you're sorry, even though it wasn't his fault. And they picked the ref up to try and like hang him on the corner, and he just fell and rolled out the ring. So then they both hit both hit big moves, and then obviously there was no ref to count it, and they kept hitting a big move, and then going, oh fuck, and the ref was knocked out. So then another ref came in and got hit in the face and like sort of couldn't see, like she was covering up her eyes. And as that was going on, Maggot went out and got Gene Money's Gene Money Championship.
Yes.
Which he unveiled for the first time. Which he wasn't defending. He was the reigning, not defending Gene Money champion going into this match. So he came back in and he tried to Eddie Guerrero Money.
Oh, I
so
see.
He threw him the belt and like
fell on the floor.
And Money shouted, "Are you trying to Eddie Guerrero me?" So then Money threw the belt at Maggot, and then they were throwing it back and forth like hot potato in it, and then they like literally like, sort of trying to shove it into each other's hands in the middle of the ring. The ref like turned around, like fine again now. Sort of like, what the fuck's going on? Grabbed the belt, pulled it off both of them, both dropped to the floor like they've been hit. Then the first ref got back in the ring, having recovered, ejected the second ref. And then as that was going on, Money got up and Ainsley Larryton Maggot for the win. It was incredible. It sounds like a bit lame, but like Maggot just sold it.
Maggot, well, both of them are excellent. Both of them are really good, like comedy wrestlers. But also both very good wrestlers generally. But I remember the last show I went to, it was Maggot and Charles Crowley, and it was very much that same, just kind of nonsense, but absolutely hilarious, really fun to watch.
Yeah, it was super entertaining, like really, really, really good fun. Next up, we had a three-way match. Lana Austin defeated Raven Creed and Eliza Alexander. So the storyline going into this was Lana's really scared of Raven Creed, and she'd been like paying Eliza Alexander to like beat her up for her.
Yeah. And
so this was, even though this was a triple threat match, it was kind of a handicap. So a lot of it was just Lana hiding in the crowd whilst Eliza and Raven had a match. And like Lana coming in to like try and help out and like running away whenever Raven was on top. Ended with Eliza hit a finisher on Raven. Lana just hoofed her in the side of the head with a big kick and then stole the pin. And then she was celebrating after the match. Eliza got up, finally had enough, and booted Lana really hard left. So that alliance is over.
Yeah, we'll get Lana against Eliza then, the next one, I imagine.
Lana is the biggest team, basically.
She's brilliant. She's so funny.
So then, before the next match, we had Spike Gervais came out with his key, and he's a great heel, isn't he? He was like superb. He was calling Simon Miller a big baby. He wouldn't give him the microphone unless he did a dance for him. All this. Then Simon was like, well, the reason you're out here is someone sent us a video, and it was Drew Parker. He said he's back he's been out here for 3 years. I mean, he was in TNT the other week, but it's fine.
Don't worry about it.
He's challenged Spike to a death match.
Damn.
It's booked. Apparently, it's set. It's happening the same weekend of the GCW shows in Liverpool. So that's the show you're going to, Troy. Hamburgers and Handshakes.
Aye, yeah.
So you're going to see your boy Spike's going to bleed.
Mate, it's going to be such an intense 4 days. Because if GCW TNT deathmatch stuff wasn't enough, I get to then go and watch that at Progress.
Put it this way, you're going to see a lot of Drew Parker's blood in those 4 days. So I think it's like him and Clint Argera versus Alex Colon and John Waydock in a deathmatch tag team match.
Jesus, wet.
That's going to be buckets of claret, mate.
Buckets.
So yeah, that's going to be fun. Spike sold that like he'd just been like tapped on the shoulder by Satan himself as well, which was really nice. So that was cool. Then we have the next match, which probably easily the match of the day, one of my match of the year. Konosuke Takeshita defeated Leon Slater. Now, considering this match was put together on incredibly short notice, because it was supposed to be Robbie X. Robbie X wasn't cleared to compete. Slater stepped in. They tore the fucking house down.
I bet they did.
this
Leon
match,
Slater's superb.
it was incredible.
Hmm.
There was one point where like Takeshita went for like a running, the rising knee in the corner, caught the knee. Oh my god, I can't even describe some of the things. I'm going to put a little video on the Discord of Takeshita doing murder on the outside through the chair that Sarah was sat on.
Nice,
which was quite fun. But yeah, these two guys. I mean, this I don't know an awful lot about Slater. I know he's part of 0121, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
I've never seen him wrestle before. This felt like I don't know if he's like sort of made his name, but this felt like a big coming out moment for him.
Yeah, he's had a couple of matches for him, and Ricky Knight Jr. had a one-on-one at I can't remember what show it was, 2 Progress shows or so ago, which is really good. And then they had a tag team match. It was those two against Sunshine Machine at Progress 24/7 last month. Really good. I don't know if he's been put in because they've got their natural progression tournament coming up. I don't know if he's in that, but that's kind of the upcoming like Rising Stars tournament. It wouldn't surprise me if he was in that.
Yeah.
But as you say, this sounds like it was very much a kind of like an emergence kind of star making kind of.
I mean,
this is this guy.
There were moments where it looked like he could have deservedly won that match. It was unbelievable. Like it was back and forth. It was everything. Takeshita won with the knee at the end. I've got a video of like literally the split second before Takeshita hits the knee of him like in motion and Slater's just like on one knee, just like looking up. Just before his world ended. But yeah, I mean Slater. I mean Takeshita's amazing. We all know that. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. He's had a hell of a year. Like his AEW excursion and his US trip has just been literally wall-to-wall bangers. I don't think he's done a match less than 4 stars while he's been in America, which is just nuts. He hits every time. And he's massive as well. You don't realise until you see him up close.
I saw some of the pictures of him and I was like, oh, he's a beast, isn't he?
Yeah. But yeah, Leon Slater, mate, the sky is the absolute limit with him. He can go all the way to the top.
Yeah.
After the match as well, innovation, like everyone, not a single person in the seat. Huge ovation for Takeshita. They stood up and cheering for Slater as well after Takeshita left.
Fair play.
There was a handshake, there was a bow, there shows of respect at the end of the match between the two competitors.
Nice.
As well, Dan Maloney and Darius came out to sort of help Leon Slater and sort of like hype him up as well, which was lovely. Really, really good to see. Awesome. Phenomenal. It was not only a great match, it was just a really great move in like the whole thing.
Yeah.
It felt really special. It really did.
I look forward to watching that one.
Yeah, as soon as that comes on Progress World, absolutely get on it. It was a banger.
Yeah.
Next up, then we had Luke Jacobs defeating Mark Davis from Aussie Open, which was a late addition. And a man like Darius to retain the Atlas Championship. This was a hell of a match as well. I mean, this started off the second half of the show, and it was the perfect second half match. It was beautiful. Loads of fun action. There was a point where Darius hit a massive 450, and it looked like he was going to win. Like it was 2.99, and I was like, "This is it. It's Darius' time. It's happening." Yeah, but it wasn't to be. But yeah, really, really fun match. Mark Davis, how can a man that size move that well?
He's huge.
He is a massive boy, but he is so quick. So that was really fun to see. Great to see, someone who I'm going to be watching on Dynamite this Wednesday. Live and in the flesh, which was kind of... So this was 1 week removed from Kexter versus Claudio. So a guy I saw put on a 5-star match last week, and then a guy I'm going to see in a few days' time. Yeah. So awesome. This is a really cool card, an AW guy like me. Next up, we had Hayata defeated Dean Ormark. Really, really fun match. Hayata, if anyone doesn't know, I wasn't familiar with him. He's from Pro Wrestling. He's in the same stable that Ridgeway's in.
That's it.
Pro Wrestling Noah. Really, really cool guy. Like, oh my god,
he's got an awesome look.
I've never seen him wrestle before, but goddamn, he is. Yeah, he likes kicking people really hard. It turns out,
as is the way of strong style.
And Dean Ormark is just he's the most copied wrestler. If Dean Ormark's the guy who first did your favorite wrestler's favorite move.
Dean Ormark is the blueprint, isn't he?
Yeah. He did a move so he had Hayata in like a Styles class position, and Hayata tucked his chin, and I got the fear. But he didn't. He didn't. Instead of like falling forward, he just sort of like sat down into a power. Which was ridiculous. It was really, really fun, back and forth. Hayata won again by just, I think it was like a shine. Just it was hard to see because the ring was quite high and it was quite low down the finish, but he looked like he just kicked Dean really hard in the face and then pinned him.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you love to see. Dean's wrestling Takeshita on Sunday, so I can't wait to see that match when it goes up on Progress World. I would have gone to see that, but Newcastle train tickets were £120.
Absolutely not.
I love Takeshita. I'd love to see him go against Dino, but not for that money.
Nah.
Next up, then, women's championship action. Laura Matteo defeated Kanji by DQ.
Yeah, so this was a rematch essentially because they face each other at 24/7. The last one I went to, and that ended in a bit of confusion. And it was a bit of a weird finish, and everyone said they're probably going to have another match. So I don't know what this is leading to, whether it's going to be some sort of stipulation.
I think it will be. So there was a promo video before the show started, and the segment for this match was Laura saying to the Kanji, basically she couldn't go to the places that Laura went to. She didn't have the killer instinct. She didn't have she didn't have the grit in her to do the things that need to be done.
Right.
Like basically, like you're not willing to cheat or like hit someone with something to win the title, so you can't be champion. So the finish of this match was Kanji had like an arm sleeve on, like she'd hurt her arm or something. Was that something to do with part of the previous match? So Laura went and got a chair, and in full view of the referee, she put the chair on Kanji's arm. She was going to Pillmanize it.
Right.
Then Kanji sort of managed to fight her off, but her arm was, because she had this like sort of sling on, her arm was caught in the chair. She couldn't get it off. So as she was trying to get it off, like Laura went to like sort of attack her, and Kanji ended up like inadvertently hitting her with the chair while it was on her arm.
Oh, okay. And
so it was it was an inadvertent DQ.
Right. That's clever.
Yeah, and after the match, they had a big brawl, and all the ring guys had to get in separate.
Yeah. Nice.
So this is going to end up like a no DQ match or something, or
submission, or not I quit, but something to that extent.
Yeah. Right, and then onto the main event. And what a moment this was! What a shock!
Jeez, I didn't see this coming.
No one did. Big Damo defeats Chris Ridgway to win the Progress World Championship. And it was a very good match. It was an incredible match. It went about 20-ish minutes, probably it felt like. But from like the 50-minute mark onwards, Ridgway didn't get a lot of offense in.
Was it just squash?
So he was kicking Damo in the leg a lot, trying to get him off his feet, trying to put submissions on, and they sold it really well. And like, I don't know how commentary I couldn't hear the commentary obviously, but Ridgway tried to put Damo in a submission because Damo is so big, he just reached over and smacked him in the face, basically.
Amazing.
And so he just couldn't get the submissions working.
Right.
And there was a big there was a moment towards like the beginning of the end of the match where like Ridgway, his big thing was he was just like open hand slapping Damo in like the sort of side of the neck to try and like knock him down, and he just slapped him like twice, and Damo just took them and looked at him, and they just headbutted him. And Ridgway just went fully down to the floor. And it was like at that point he was like he must have like I just can't beat this guy. So then Damo hit a wasteland. Remember that? Wade Barrett's old move.
Yeah.
He hit one of them into the corner, then a standing senton, then a Vader bomb, and Ridgway kicked out at like 2.9.
Fucking hell.
And I was like, all right, that's it then. That was Damo's big thing.
Yeah.
Like Ridgway's gonna like roll him up or something, or he's gonna tap him or somehow. But then they had like another little quick exchange. Like he got him onto the floor. He got Ridgway onto the floor, just hammer and anvil elbowed him in the kidneys about 4 times.
Ooh.
And then Vader bombed him onto his back and Vader bombed him and then pinned him and won.
Jeez.
It was, like I said, Ridgway. He really was shine in the early stages, but from like the sort of past the midway part of the match,
it's like he just ran out of ideas. Like he
just couldn't do it. It was too much.
Nice.
And then Damo got a couple of cans of Guinness off the guys, drinking a few cans in the ring. Basically said, he never thought he'd be Progress World Champion. He had the listings in wrestling that he wanted to accomplish. He never thought this would be one of them. And and then he said, let's just get the beers in, and off he went. He was so over, like so over.
Yeah.
Like
last couple of times I've seen him at Progress shows, he's been massively over. So that's a cool moment for him.
It was beautiful. It was really cool. He looked really emotional as well when he won it as well. And the look on his face, it really meant a lot to him, and it was great to see it.
Good lad.
So
that's a massive shock though. Ridgway's only defended it like once,
Yeah,
twice since
he won it at Super Strong Style, didn't he? So
Yeah, that was only when was it? I've got the poster up. June, start of June.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
So, yeah. And Ridgeway put on Twitter today that he's taking a break. I don't know if that's from wrestling or from Progress or whatever. I don't know if that had anything to do with the title change. So yeah, between that and Luke Kessler getting his soul ripped out of his body last week, it's been a bad couple of days for Northwest Strong.
I can't wait to watch that one.
Yeah, honestly, it was I mean, if not for Takeshita versus Slater, that would have been an easy match. You know, it was fantastic. It told a really good story.
Yeah,
Both guys did so well. And don't forget, it was hot as shit. And like they were under the lights. There was one point in the triple threat match where Luke Jacobs just like running lariated Mark Davis, and I think about a pint of sweat flew up him.
One fluid pint.
you honestly just saw the droplet just explode off his chest. It was just like, oh, it was insane. Right, we'll have a quick final break, and we'll run down very quickly with some GCW and G1 stuff to finish off the show. If you're on the Jax Radio, we can have some Hell is for Heroes. Keep it British after that lovely British wrestling. And we'll be back with you in 1 second. Okay, and we're back. Just very brief. Some notes really. Not going to do match like recaps of some bits and bobs that happened at GCW Homecoming Night 1, which, as we record this, was last night. Obviously, Night 2 is on Sunday, but we're not going to be around for that, so you have to find that out yourself. But a couple of title and a couple of big moments. First of all, the Briscoes defeated Los Massizos to win the GCW Tag Team titles.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Obviously, they've just officially signed with Ring of Honor, but they're still getting a big push in GCW, which is good to see.
Yeah.
I mean, they're quietly having well, obviously those two sort of massive matches with FTR. They're quietly having a very good year.
They'd already won the GCW Tag Team titles like earlier this year, I thought, and they lost them fairly quickly, didn't they? Was it to Nick Gage and
they lost them at the show we watched, World on GCW?
Yes, that was it. Yeah.
That was when Nick Gage came out and they literally could wrestle fuck, and he was still so injured. So good to see that happening. Big news of the night. Rina Yamashita defeated Alex Colon to win the GCW Ultra Violent title.
Damn.
She took Sarah was watching the match before. She took a Styles Clash through a shower, like pain, and kicked out the 2.
Jesus wept.
It was that when we watched that match, it was nuts. They mentioned TNT a lot as well. Alex Colon came out with the Extreme Championship as well.
Nice.
And they talked about him. They talked about him defending it in Liverpool in September at the GCW TNT
Liverpool
shows,
getting a shout out on GCW television. That's awesome.
You love to see it. Gonna be fucking blood pouring out of Camp and Furnace. Oh no, it's Hanger. It's Hanger. Sorry.
It's a Hanger. Yeah.
And then the big one, the main event, John Moxley defeated Epic by technical deep kissing to retain. So the start of the match, like Effie leaned in, like Moxley and just kissed him on the cheek. And then,
I saw that. Then they had like a back and forth, didn't they?
Yeah, and then so the finish was Moxley just like lip locked him for like 3 seconds, and afterwards Effie was like a bit dazed, and Moxley just death rided him.
Oh mate. Professional wrestling, ladies and gentlemen.
John Moxley deep kissing Effie. Is there anything Moxley can't do?
He's still banging that drum, aren't you?
So after the match, Moxley's on the mic. I mean, at one point during the match, he just packed cigarettes from under the ring, lit a smoke up, and was like putting Effie in like a abdominal stretch while smoking a cigarette. So after the match, Moxley cuts a promo saying that it's too late now. There's no one left for him to face. He needs more. He needs a new challenger. Nick Gage's music hits and the place fucking exploded. It took Nick Gage like 10 minutes to get to the ring to be mobbed by the crowd.
Yeah.
So he gets in the ring, basically says, he thought he'd have to retire. He's had all these injuries, and Moxley said he'll give him another match. He wants it, title versus career.
Oh.
So if Gage loses, he's done.
I mean.
So Gage is winning. but Moxley said he'll name the time, he'll name the place.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there we go. That's coming up. It's going to be a rough couple of months. Moxley's probably going to lose his interim world AEW title. He's going to lose his GCW title. He'll be fine. He'll be all right.
He'll be fine. He'll still get Wrestler of the Year.
We'll very quickly then fly through some G1 bits and bobs. Mm-hmm. So a couple of matches of note. Lance Archer defeated Jonah by countout, which is important.
What, the fact that it was by count out?
Well, no, just that Lance Archer has the tiebreaker over Jonah now.
Oh, I see.
If it comes to it.
Right,
So we'll talk about it in a sec. If Lance Archer beats Okada, which is Okada's last match, and Jonah wins his last match against Farley, they'll all be on 8 points. But Jonah will have the tiebreaker over Okada, and Archer will have the tiebreaker over both men.
Jonah. Oh,
and Archer,
right.
And Okada. So he's already beaten Jonah. If he beats Okada, then he'll go through.
Bloody hell.
El Phantasmo defeated David Finlay, which is interesting because Phantasmo is sort of like a bottom. So Block D, which we'll talk about in a second, everyone's still in it. Like no one's eliminated yet.
Yeah.
It's still wide open. Finlay was the runaway leader at one point, but he's sort of been pegged back like a little bit. He got out to a big lead and he's sort of been pulled back in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And another big one, because it was a rematch of the Forbidden Door sort of semi-final. Hiroki Goto defeated Tanahashi, which felt pretty big. That really clears the way for Zack Sabre Jr. to run away with Block C now.
You reckon?
Well, we'll talk about the Block A. Everyone's still in contention. We've got Okada on 8 points. Jonah, Jeff Cobb, and Archer are all on 6 points. They're the only men still alive.
All right.
So Jonah has Farley. You'd expect him to win that in his final match. Archer and Okada fight each other. So Okada's got to beat Archer basically to go through.
Oof.
I don't know how Jonah goes through. Maybe if Okada and Archer double count out or something.
Can't see that happening.
Block B, the only two men still going, and this is poetic, isn't it? Jay White and Tama Tonga.
Of course they are.
So something's got to give there.
Nice.
When did Tama Tonga start dressing like Iron Man, by the way?
Yep. I'm not sure. Maybe around the same time he started to grow a mullet.
Yeah, he looks weird. I don't like mullet Tama Tonga. Block D, then we've got Zack Sabre Jr. on 8 points, and then we've got Hiroshi Tanahashi, Hiroki Goto, and Tetsuya Naito all on 6 points. Naito's been a quiet one, but he's handily placed, I think is how you describe him.
Yeah.
So he could do something from there. He's not been getting any big wins, but he's been doing the work. He's been keeping himself in contention.
Steady pace.
Yeah, he's just been keeping pegging with everyone else. Block D then is the fascinating one. So all men are still active in this. No one's eliminated mathematically. So you've got Takahashi, Finlay, Shingo, and Ospreay all on 6 points. And then you've got Yoshihashi, Juice Robinson, and El Phantasmo 4 points.
All to play for there.
So it's something's got to happen there. I have no idea what's going to go. It's fascinating, as I said. So we're currently into the last few block matches this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
By the time this podcast comes out, we'll know who the final four are.
Yeah. And
then it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're going to have... It's mad that it ends on Thursday, isn't it?
Yeah.
But Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we'll have the final one of the G1 champion is by Thursday. So, yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, man.
It feels like this has come to an end very quickly, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. Exciting, though. Like you say, there's still plenty to go there. There's plenty speculation what could happen and ways that things could work out. And certainly the stuff in Block A with the kind of the tiebreaker and everything there. Like it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
There's still stories here. There's still a lot of stuff that can happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, I think that'll do us. We're going to go and put some water back in our bodies because it's still punishingly warm. We'll play you out with some Idlewild if you're on Jax. You're probably hearing that creeping in as we're speaking to you right now. Thank you all for listening. This will be up on YouTube as well on the video. If you want to look at us for some reason, you can do that. So however you want to consume it, please do. Thank you very much for listening. We'll see you all next week. Take care. Goodbye.
Bye.